Have you ever poured your entire soul into loving someone only to have your heart shattered into a million pieces? This is the story of Mark, a man who believed love could conquer all, and his wife, Sarah, who taught him the hardest lesson of all. Mark wasn't born with a silver spoon. He was a small-town boy with big dreams, and the biggest one was Sarah. From the moment he saw her, with her radiant smile and eyes that sparkled like the summer sky, he was smitten. He worked tirelessly, juggling 2, sometimes 3, jobs just to give her the life he felt she deserved. He saved every penny, not for himself, but for a future with her. He bought her a small house, filled it with warmth, and on one knee, under a sky full of stars. He promised her a lifetime of devotion. For Mark, "I do," wasn't just a phrase. It was a sacred vow, a commitment etched onto his very soul. Their first few years were like a fairy tale. Mark continued to work hard, his hands calloused but his heart full. He would come home exhausted, but the sight of Sarah would wash all his fatigue away. He'd surprise her with little gifts, not expensive things, but thoughtful ones. A wildflower picked on his way home, her favorite chocolate bar, a book by an author she mentioned in passing. He remembered every little detail, every whispered dream. He supported her when she wanted to go back to school to chase her passion for art, taking on extra shifts without a single complaint so she wouldn't have to worry about the bills. His love was a fortress, built brick by brick with sacrifice and unwavering loyalty. He truly believed he was the luckiest man alive. But slowly, subtly, things began to change. It started with small, almost unnoticeable shifts. Sarah started staying out later, claiming study groups or gallery openings with her new college friends. The warm dinners Mark used to come home to became cold leftovers in the fridge. Her laughter, once the music of his life, seemed reserved for the people on the other end of her constantly buzzing phone. When Mark tried to talk to her, to bridge the growing distance, she'd dismiss his concerns. "You're being paranoid, Mark," she'd say, her eyes avoiding his. "I'm just busy with school. You wanted this for me, remember?" Her words were like little daggers, twisting the very sacrifices he'd made for her into weapons against him. Mark felt a knot of unease tightening in his stomach. He tried to ignore it, telling himself he was just tired and stressed. He loved Sarah, and love meant trust, right? He redoubled his efforts, hoping to win back the woman he was losing. He planned a surprise weekend getaway to the very place he had proposed, hoping to reignite the spark that once burned so brightly. He bought her a beautiful new dress, cooked her favorite meal, and waited, his heart pounding with a mixture of hope and dread. But Sarah never came home that night. Her phone went straight to voicemail. The beautiful dinner grew cold, just like the hope in Mark's heart. The next morning, Sarah walked in, looking disheveled and avoiding his gaze. The excuse she gave was flimsy, full of holes that even a man blinded by love could see. The sweet perfume she wore wasn't the one he had bought her. And then he saw it, a tiny, almost invisible mark on her neck, partially hidden by her collar. In that moment, the fortress of his love, the one he had built with his bare hands and tireless devotion, crumbled into dust. The truth hit him with the force of a physical blow, knocking the air from his lungs. The woman he had given everything for, the woman who was his entire world, had chosen betrayal over loyalty. The confrontation was quiet, devastating. There were no shouts, no thrown objects, just the heavy, suffocating silence of a broken heart. Sarah finally admitted it. It was a classmate, someone exciting and spontaneous, someone who wasn't always tired from working. Each word was another nail in the coffin of their marriage. She didn't even seem sorry. She seemed relieved, as if the secret had been a burden she was glad to be rid of. Mark looked at the woman in front of him and no longer saw the girl he fell in love with. He saw a stranger. In the days that followed, Mark moved like a ghost through the house they had built together. Every corner held a memory, now tainted by betrayal. He packed his things, his hands moving mechanically. He left the house, the furniture, everything he had worked so hard for. He didn't want any of it. They were just things, reminders of a love that was a lie. He walked away with nothing but a suitcase and a shattered heart. The pain was immense, a gaping wound that he thought would never heal. He had sacrificed his youth, his energy, his dreams, all for a love that was one-sided. But this isn't just a story about heartbreak. It's a story about resilience. In the depths of his despair, Mark found an unexpected strength. He realized that his worth wasn't defined by someone else's inability to see it. He had poured so much of himself into Sarah that he had forgotten who he was without her. Slowly, piece by piece, he began to rebuild. He focused on himself, rediscovered old hobbies, and reconnected with friends he had drifted away from. He started his own small contracting business, pouring the same dedication he once gave to his marriage into his work, and he thrived. It wasn't easy. There were nights the loneliness was a physical ache, and days the bitterness threatened to consume him. But he learned that true love isn't about sacrificing yourself until there's nothing left. It's about finding someone who builds you up, who matches your effort, who cherishes your loyalty. Mark's story is a painful reminder that you can give someone the world, but you can't make them appreciate it. His journey teaches us that even after the most devastating betrayals, it is possible to heal, to rebuild, and to find happiness again, not in someone else, but within ourselves. The end of one chapter is often the beginning of a better one. Thank you so much for listening to Mark's story. If you've ever been through something similar, know that you are not alone and you have the strength to overcome it. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. For more content like this, we'll see you in the next one.